Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online challenge. We're back with Eldrazi Aggro on the play for game one, and you might notice, in addition to the list here, Eldrazi Mimic. We cut and it that heralds and a flush rake and an anti-causal for it. We'll see how it performs. So we're gonna start off with Mimic. And pass. And I mean, if we can land an anti-causal and hit for 7 on 2, that's not bad. Draw. K command. I do wonder though if I want to do that. So, I mean, we can anti-causal, draw a card, maybe play a land. The thing is, there's a possibility that we just whiff wholeheartedly. So I wonder if I want to K command instead, either that or Flesh Rake. Flesh Rake wouldn't really get us much anywhere, whereas K command would allow us to scry draw. See, I'm missing red. I swear I'm short on red sources. It's possibly because like on curve I'm good for red sources, but it's possible that maybe I need a little bit more so I can play it on 2 instead. So Flesh Rake, Vestige, or Command. I'm tempted to go Command here. I'm gonna attack first, see if maybe they have like, I don't know, Path. It connects. I'll pass and hold up K command here, I think. I guess, see, at the same time, now I'm a bit concerned about Felia. If this is Blink, let's say, and they play a land pass, I'm just going to sit here and curse my luck because it's going to be a Felia and I need to hold up the K command instead. March? Okay. Sure. March of Otherworldly Light pitches Raft the Sky. This makes it feels like it might be control. Like Orchid Phantom. ETB trigger. Okay. Temple or Lab? Go for my Temple, please. Ah, you son of a. I'm gonna ramp Exile. Or ramp Scryjaw, rather. Well, maybe I'm tempted to ramp Exile. Bit afraid of interaction, but I think this is fine. No and no. Bottom, I need a land, please. That's not a land. That's a TKS. I'm gonna say yes, we're gonna grab a mountain. And I imagine we pass. Draw. A Mimic. A Mimic, you say? So I could Eldrazi Line Breaker. So I could actually go Mimic Line Break, funny enough. That's a consideration. Are the considerations going Flesh Rake and the Mimic? Let's start there. Let's go Flesh Rake and the Mimic. Trigger. Always yield. Always yield. And then pass in full. And pass. Next turn we can either have it come in as Line Break, Vestige. Field Ruin. Okay, you could take the E-Temp, not ideal. We'll grab a Waste. One land left. What you do with it? No attacks. Okay. Draw. Paying cost Path to Exile. That's rude as hell. Yeah, you got it. Yes, this is my last basic, though, which is a bit annoying. Draw another Mimic. You have 2 lands left. Unfortunately, I can't play the TKS, so I suppose we will stick with the Line Break. Always yield. In this case, yes. Go to combat. Always yield. And swing for 8. If you don't block, you go down to 8. Alright, next turn we have an anti-causal that will hasten if we draw into a land. Blast zone on 1, sure. Interesting. No attacks. Draw. Secluded Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. In that case, do we go TKS or anti-causal? We'll go anti-causal. Warpin. I do love the warp mechanic. I wish they had more Eldrazi with warp. It would have been nice. Gain cost. March. Rude as heck. Yes, indeed. Go to combat. Swing for 7. Imagine you block. Yeah, I was about to say. Let's see what your last card is. Trigger. Trigger. We'll go with TKS. Take the White Orchid. Yes. It's a 4/4. Yeah, I was about to say. Alright. Demolition Field, sure. Demo Field, I'm gonna say no. Rude, because now I can't play my anti-causal. Draw. K command. Doesn't really do enough. So in that case, we'll just attack in for 6. The Mimic already is overperformed, or at least performed beyond my expectations. Hold the K command, opponent's passing, end step. Thankfully, Blast Zone only has 1 counter on it. So, K command, and puts me in scoop. Alright, solid win. Land destruction? Yeah, win for game 1. Let's move to game 2. We can cut Bog. Cut Ghost Quarter? Probably. So we have room for 2. We could go Dismember, though I'm not sure if they are playing like flicker effects for White Orchid. Alternatively, we could go Disruptor Flute to name like Demo Field, etc. Not sure if that's entirely necessary though. So I'm thinking maybe Dismember. Though I guess they could be running some number of like Damp Sphere. So maybe Wastegate Battle Mage might be good. Cut a Null Drifter. Yeah, let's do that. On the draw for game 2. I want to keep it. I do want to keep it. I mean, we have 5, 6, 10 hits for Line Break on 2. We can even cycle the K command if we need. Yeah, we'll do this. I guess actually we are probably going to go Mimic on 1. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. So Mimic on 1. Unless they have the Citadel, which I think comes into play tap, though. Demo Field, no white sources, love that. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi. Cast Line Breaker. Trigger, always yield. Yes. Combat, trigger, target, always yield. And swing in for 8. Pass. You got all the land destruction. Imagine you eat the E-temp. If you do, that's fine. Not the end of the world. I'll grab, I suppose, a waste. Yeah, we'll grab a waste here. Draw. Lab. Lab Imprint Breaker. In that case, TKS. You have another March. This Mimic will become a 4/4. Yep, there's March to get rid of Line Break. And like that's pretty dangerous though, because you're pitching 3 cards. And I'm going to also strip one from hand on top of which. That is a choice. Always yield. What you got? I mean, I'll take it. Yes. And go to combat. Swing for 4, which means I have lethal on board, and they have nothing but a land in hand. Yeah, I mean, they were going to lose if they didn't do that, to be fair. Just March is pretty bad in that scenario. Why don't you draw? I mean, eat the World Breaker for all I care. I will grab a mountain. Alright, what else you got? You got a plains. Oh, so that's just the game. Well, I guess not. I need a little bit more damage. Yeah, that's fair. So in that case, I suppose we just attack for 6. Hold up, K command X equals 2. We know the last card was Demo Field. Wrath of Skies doesn't cut it. Demo Field, float. I'm gonna say no. Alright, what's the last card in hand? Path the Exile? That's just rude. Yeah, fine. I do not wish to. TKS resolves. You draw an extra card. Still need to deal with Mimic. End step. And Bone Scoops up. Alright, we'll take the win. Solid start to this challenge. We'll be back for match number 2. Alright, we're back for match 2 on the play for game 1. Let's take a look. I mean, this is a turn 2 Flesh Rake into a potential turn 3 Mega Spawn. We'll keep. Opponent keeps the opening 7, Eldrazi Temple, and pass. And pass. If they play 1 mana value spell, we could just K command and ramp. Is it a Ragavan? It's Ragavan. We will get rid of that Ragavan. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi. And ramp and exile. And done. Everyone down and pass. And hold. I'd love to see a land off the top. Passing, draw, line break. So we can go one of two directions here. We can go sowing Mycospawn and ramp. We can go line break and attack. We can go flesh rake. I'm thinking I kind of want to go Mycospawn, honestly. And ramp. Excuse me. Grab Eldrazi Temple and pass. Fetch Wooded Foothills. Bolt. I'm starting to feel like this might be Zoo. Yep, it is Zoo. Okay. Pass. And pass. Well, pretty interactive hand for them, it seems like. Draw. Hit that Heralds. In that case, let's start with Flesh Rake. Into Hit that Heralds. Yeah, if they have 5 cards in hand and haven't played anything, it has to be interactive. So I'm guessing Leyline Binding. Yep. Alright, I will pass. So next turn we can kick Mycospawn if needed. Otherwise, we draw into a land. We could go Line Breaker into Vestige, though I'm thinking of going to Mycospawn. I want a Bajukabog here. 2, 3, another Flage. Perfect. Hits this at Heralds. Yep. And draw. Oh. Well, that's awkward. I mean, I think in that case, yeah, I'll just kick Mycospawn. Ramp again. Get rid of the Triome, so you no longer have a white source. We'll just go with an Eldrazi Temple. And Bajukabog target you. Alright, no more Flage. There's a reason why I like Bajukabog. Red, red, and no? You have a third Flage in hand, but no white source? Seems like it. Draw. Hit that Heralds. So I can Eldrazi Line Breaker. And Anti-Causal. Go to combat. And Bo's going to scoop it up. I will take the win. Alright, so that's Zoo. Win for game 1. Let's move to game 2. So for Zoo, we want Wayscape Battle Mage. I am thinking we cut TKS. We can cut Ghost Quarter. We want to keep Bog. We want Dismember. So maybe cut the 4th TKS. Alright, let's keep it like that. I guess I could have cut a Null Drifter, maybe. But TKS is pretty meh here. I do like the look of this. I will keep. So I'm trying to figure out what I pitch to Gemstone. I'm debating this forest, to be honest. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leyline of the Guild Pact. Reveal. Play. I'm thinking the forest, but maybe not. Yeah, we'll go with the forest. And pass. Arid Mesa. Trigger. We got It That Heralds and Sowing Myco Spawn. I like the idea of Sowing Myco Spawn here to ramp into our 7-mana value spells. Eldrazi Lab, Imprint Devourer, and cast Glaring Fleshrake. We'll pass. Fetch for a Scry land, or Surveil land rather. If the Scry lands were fetchable, would they be better than Surveil? I guess it depends on the deck, right? If it wants to fill the yard or not. I'm surprised they haven't just gone ahead and basically made better temples. Yeah, it feels like it would make sense. Wayscape Battle Mage is good. So I guess a question here is, do I want to tuck the side? I'm going to say no. No. No kick. Triggers. Do you have consigned memory? You do not. Grab E-Temp. Trigger. If you had Leyline Binding, you should have played that earlier. Oh, maybe this is Consign? But why wouldn't you use Consign on the search? I feel like the search is more impactful by comparison. Yeah, by all means. Like, I think you should have given me the body, not the search. Weird. Attack for 2, down to 17. And pass. So I need a land off top them, so I can play the Sire 7 Dust. Black, red, white, Flage. Flage hits. The Glaring Fleshrake. Yep, makes sense to me. Draw land, please. It That Herald isn't bad. I will take the It That Heralds. We could Wayscape Battle Mage and just destroy or exile the Leyline. I think that might not be a bad idea. We'll do that now then. Green, just so we can apply pressure to the board. Next turn, as long as the Wayscape is, or It That Herald is on board, we can cast the Sire 7 Dust. And opponent's passing. Dismember. In that case, let's start with Sire. In case they get any ideas of destroying that Heralds. You have a consign to memory. No consign. Attack for 5. Down to 17 after a fetch. Okay. Surveil. Fetch. Surveil. No. Down to 11. Okay, I mean, if you go below 7, Sire should just win me the game. So you can Flage. Hit the Heralds, I imagine. Yep. We'll go up to 14, down to 7. So Sire will have pseudo hexproof. Draw. Sowing Myco Spawn. 6, we kick green. And we'll kick your Triome. I suppose we'll grab an E-Temp. Attack with Sire. And now Sire has pseudo hexproof. We have Dismember if needed, but I don't foresee it being needed. If they actually go to attack and bolt, or rather helix one of my creatures, I'm going to dismember one of my own creatures. Because that would ensure that if they drew into a Leyline Binding, they can't do anything about it. Sign of Draco's fine. First Strike Vigilance. Sure. Black. White. Doorkeeper Thrall. Sure. Combat. End step. Dismember. And pass. And Bone Scoop stop. Solid win against Zoo. Alright, well, we'll be back for match number 3. Alright, and we're back for match 3 on the play for game 1. I will keep. Do wish I had a soul land off the start, but we can make this work. Always yield. Trigger number 1. There's soul land number 1. Though I do kind of want a red source. Huh. Soul land. And soul land. Draw. We'll play the waste and pass. And pass. Yeah, I just need a red source to follow up off the top. Thankfully, I didn't see any red sources. Tamiyo, draw, Ugin's Lab, Imprint, Devourer, cast Mimic, pass, and pass. We can just find a red source. We're in a good spot. We have what? 4, 9, 10 hits. Yeah, we have 10 hits off top. They'll also take a TKS, so that's another 4. So 14 hits. We have a lot of good options here. Vestige. Yep, I'll take the Vestige. We'll warp it. And that will allow us to put in the line breaker without the red source. This is really, really fun. I was like, okay, I don't have the proper mana. Sure, that's fine. Discharge, Mimic, yep. Can't do anything about that. That is fine, though. We'll pass the end step. Trigger, draw, line break tapped, paying cost tune, and pass. So next turn we can hit that Heralds. Would like some lands still. So I can eventually play this Null Drifter and Devourer. Alright. Opponent has 2 clues. Did they miss a land drop? Thunderclap Trainer, or Thunder Trap. Fable. They did miss a land drop. Draw. Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. So in that case, I am thinking hit that Heralds. Flare. Brood. Null Drifter, draw 2. Evoke. Next turn we can play the Vestige. And swing for 4. And pass. Alright, down to 12. Galvanic Discharge, Rude, Attack, Trigger, and Passing. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi, and cast Anti-Causal, make it uncounterable. And then pass. Next turn we can play Devourer. Exile Tameo if we want, or exile the Fable if we need. Exiling the Fable is a consideration. I can only imagine the Arena of Glories here for Flage. Cracks a clue, draws a card. Did not find a land. So they want to block. I'm going to say no to that and say get devoured. Vow of Destiny. Go to combat. Swing for 7. Down to 5 and pass. And what you got? Trainer. So we can return Devourer to hand. Our opponent's gonna scoop. Cool. So I'm gonna say this is more control-y. So it is like Wizards control. Win for game 1. We'll want Dismember and Thief most likely. Got the Ghost Quarter. I do believe that they'll be running Snapcaster. Discharge can't cleanly kill TKS, though Flame of Anor can. Do I worry about that? Maybe cut a Null Drifter and a TKS might be fair. And run it back. Yeah, we keep those. I will keep. I will pass. Archive, yep. And draw. Flush Raker. Cast Mimic. And pass. And pass. And draw. And combat. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi. And does Flash Rake resolve? Paying cost 4, consign. Okay. Fetch Arid Mesa, Surveil, and pass. Fable, okay. Draw. I am going to Mugen Lab Imprint. Cast It That Heralds. Always healed. ES. And go to combat. Swing for 3. Okay. In that case, second main, I'm gonna ramp and exile the Goblin Shaman. Done. No. And done. I don't want them ramping if I can help it. Since they have discharge, I'm gonna hold. Pitch 2. Let's see. Do you pitch a Flage? We have the Bog. If so, Just need you not to have another fetch. No flage. Okay. Arid Mesa fetch. Down to 13. Steam Vent Shock to 11. Interesting. Supreme Verdict resolves. And draw. Null Drifter, let's draw 2. Always yield. Trigger, always yield. I will Bajuka Bog target you. Is there a reason to do so right now? There is if I draw into a 7-mana value spell, admittedly. Yeah, well, Bajuka Bog target you. And pass. And hold on, off chance that becomes relevant. Tamiyo, yep. And pass 2 in hand. There's Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. TKS. TKS ETBs. Always heal. What you got? Double flame. Yikes. In that case, we'll take the flame. And we could K command exile the Tamiyo. I'm going to pass on instead. I imagine they're going to attempt to flip the Tamiyo. Because whenever you draw your third card, I guess they'll do it on their turn, actually. So when they attempt to do it on their turn, that's where I will K command. Exiling the Tamiyo. Alright. Begin combat. Attack. Triggers. Okay. I guess you could do it now to flip. Kill TKS, draw 2 in response. I'm going to ramp exile or scry draw exile. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, ramp exile. And done. You draw into a counterspell. Flare. You know, it works, to be fair. Draw a card. Tamiyo attacks, you get a clue. You play a land. Anything else? Draw. E-temp. That is enough. World Breaker to hand. And cast World Breaker. Exile the Reflection to Kiki-Jiki. And pass. Draws of a clue. I mean, I guess you could consign the exile, but not sure that's necessary. Alright, 4 cards in hand. World Breaker on board. It has really good recursion, which is nice. What this? Thunder Trap with Offspring. Discharge and consign. Okay. Draw. Line Breaker. Excellent. No reason to play my forest here. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there's no reason to. Trigger. Always yield. Combat. You'll need to block. So you'll be able to discharge the Line Breaker. That's fine. Mesa, 3 unknown in hand, and passing? Really? I mean, if you attack... Interesting. Why would you not discharge there? Cast Eldrazi Mimic. Beginning combat? Discharge? Why would you not discharge? What is going on? Always healed? I guess you could consign the trigger. I guess it's the only real use you're going to get out of that consign with the Cavernous Souls on board, admittedly. What is this? What? What is happening here? Flame of Anor? Five damage. Okay. So you're going to discharge the breaker. Discharge the light. Okay. Fetch? What is happening here? Why would you deal 5 to World Breaker here? Why wouldn't you discharge prior to combat? Snapcast for discharge? Cast discharge targeting World Breaker? Is that the thought process? Yes. Okay. I have no reason to attack here. So in that case, I will simply pass. On end step, we'll return it to hand. Arena of Glory. Hasting what? On the fresh value, hasting. Okay. Discharge. Yep. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. And hasting what? Ragavan. That is objectively annoying. So they have a consign in hand. Alright. I'll take the hit, down to 15, trigger for World Breaker. That is annoying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I mean, you could cast World Breaker. Looks like they are. And targets. Alright. World Breaker, sacrifice, E-temp, and pass. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, draw. Flesh Rake. Cast World Break. World Break. I mean, they have everything, so I might as well get rid of Arena of Glory just to get rid of the utility. And then pass. And pass. As much as I wanted to play the Flesh Rake there, I needed a blocker. Scouting Tarn. And pass, draw, dismember. Okay, interesting. I will play Flesh Rake. And pass. And hold. draw. Hit that Heralds. Trigger Flesh Rake. Oh. I'm smart. Smart I am. Triggers. If you had removal, you should have played it at sorcery speed, but you didn't. So at least I get a token. Consign. Yeah, that's fair. I'll still ETB and still trigger Flesh Rake. Yep. And I will pass. And hold. Flage. Flage. Targets. Flesh Rake. Yeah, not much we can do about that, unfortunately. Go to 6. Paying cost to then escape it. And then Helix, that heralds? It'd leave you just with one Scouting Tarn up if you did that. Down to 5. Okay. Sacred Foundry. Are you gonna shock that? I was about to say, that'd be surprising. Land. 1 in hand. Oh, I see. You wanted to try and keep as many spells that you could flash back in yard as possible. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Alright. Flage ETBs. Targets the that heralds. Yep. Up to 8. Do you attack? No attacks. Draw. Cavern Souls. No reason to reveal that. I will pass. No attacks. Yeah, we're in a bit of an awkward position, unfortunately. Like, we could block the Flage and then dismember it. We could do the same with the World Breaker. We can block one, dismember one like Ragavan. That's also a consideration. And we are so close. But Flage is probably going to claw things back. I think they have game 2. They attack with what? Interesting. Leaving back the trainer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take the 3. 6. So I'd be at 2. Which means if I... that's actually kind of annoying. Go to blocks. Block you. And then dismember. Dismember what, though? I guess I could dismember the World Breaker to mitigate 3 damage. Otherwise, I take 7, 9. Basically, if I hit the Ragavan, it would be the same damage I'd be taking otherwise, which is fine. So we'll hit the Ragavan. I'll take 7 down to... I'll take 9 down to 3. But then we're dead on board. Alright, fine. Do this. That way I go down to 6 instead. We'll pass. Yep. I think I need a Cyrus 7 deaths. We're gonna hit Cyrus out in this mountain. Okay, didn't need that. It's not dead yet. Draw. Line breaker. Yeah, unfortunately that's not enough. Because they'll Helix, and then I'm dead. And I play Line Breaker, I attack with Line Breaker, and I don't have enough damage either. Unfortunate. I will concede. Yeah, them hitting that World Breaker and being able to cast it was brutal. Alright, let's move to sideboard. I will cut Gemstone Caverns for TKS or Null Drift. We'll go TKS. There's only so many Flame of Unors that they have. Whereas Discharge can't cleanly kill TKS. It's not like they have Leyline Binder or Solitude available to them that can cleanly remove TKS. Yeah. So opponent obviously has Consign, so the Cavern of Souls will be solid. They have a ton of removal though. On the play for game 3. I mean, on curve it's not bad, though I'd love to see a 7-mana value spell off top, so that's 9 hits. Also, if we find ourselves with an E-Temp, that would work. I mean, we have a ton of good hits off top. We'll pass. Otherwise, like I said, I can just play for curve. Tameo, Ragavan. In that case, 7-mana value spell or E-Temp, please. 13 hits, no dice. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi, play It That Heralds. Pass. Yeah, I had what, 13 hits off top? Not including Dismember, 15. Yeah. Discharge. Yep. Land, Ragavan hits. Of course, when I hit a 7-mana value spell or an E-Temp. Mountain, that's fine. Draw. E-Temp. That's annoying. And no matter how I slice it, that's annoying. I will move to end step, see if they fetch. Let's see if they have Consigned Memory, Ramp, and Exile. And done. And pass. Consign. At least forces them to use a temporary resource. Daedalus Archive, Surveil Trigger. And pass. Ragavan hits. And finds what? Eldrazi Mimic. They actually can play Mimic, funny enough. Revealed. Finds. Hallowed Fountain. Plays Hallowed Fountain. Shock to 14. Draw. Play Secluded Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. This feels like they have a Flare of Denial in hand, which makes both the Fleshraker and K command objectively worse. I will pass. Forcing them to play it on their turn. There's no way I can play around it. Draw. Beginning of combat. K command. Scry draw exile this time. And done. Want to see the flare. Nope. Pass. And it's a Sire's 7 deaths. That would have been lovely. Draw. Bajuka Bog. I will play Fleshraker first. Fleshraker hits board. I'm going to move the combat. Do I Bajuka Bog now? Given that there's a Galvanic Discharge in there, I'm going to say yes in case they have a Snapcast. And pass. And pass. Elegant Parlor, Surveil. I mean, if they attack Rogmon, I think I block with a Fleshrake, honestly. Flage, Helix, target Fleshrake. This Rogmon's going to be the death of me. Rogmon hits, finds, wounds. Forest, that's fine. Draw. Breaker. Play a lab. No imprint. Cast World Breaker. Go for double red, so red-white. Always yield. Of course, they have the treasure. There's Consign. Ugh. Yep. So consign the trigger, consign the body. And pass. And Rogmon hits. Null Drifter. They can draw 2 at the very least. That's annoying. Fable. And do you draw 2 as well? No. Draw. Thief. So I will play Thief. See if this resolves. Trigger, eat the Fable. Ideally that way you can't pitch cards for Flage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No reason to play the lab right now. So we'll pass. Paying cost for tune. And then discharge. No discharge. Okay. They are getting awkwardly close to escaping this Flage. Land. Flame. Deals 5. They draw a card. Alright, so this is going to be interesting. Take 4 down to 6. Rogmon hits a line breaker. They can't cast it, thankfully. Paying cost. I think they were trying to play the line breaker and then realized they couldn't. End step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have 8 in hand. Sacrifice the lab. Breaker to hand. And draw. Line breaker. Wound's lab. No imprint. And again, we'll go after double red. You have another consign? Of course you do. Son of a... Oh, flare. Not much better, because now you're going to flage, and that's lethal, and we'll concede. Oofda. Yeah, not much I can do about that. Alright, well, unfortunately win some, and sometimes lose some. Well, sometimes win some, sometimes lose some. Not unfortunately you win some. Ideally you always win, but no one's ever that lucky. And or good. And if they are, there's something wrong. Regardless though, that will be the end of match 3. We'll be back for match 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4 on the draw for game 1. I'll keep and pass. Well, let's see an E-temp off top, but if we go Eldrazi Mimic into Eldrazi Mimic into Sowing Myco Spawn, that's not bad. A bit slow, but not bad. Down to 17, Ragavan, so it's Zoo most likely. Draw. I will play a Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi, and pass. So we're gonna get by Ragavan. Ragavan is by and large been the bane of my existence for so long. I don't think people understand how, like, I think people understand how good of a card this is, but I don't think people realize, like, how good of a tempo swing it is if it just remains on board for one turn. It is stupidly good. We just don't complain about it anymore because it's just not worth complaining about by comparison to other cards. Yeah, so I was right to the Zoo. Sign of Draco, so I was now first strike. You're killing me here. So now Mimic is a dead card, because like I can block the Ragavan, but it's going to die as a result. Next turn, I can at least exile the Ragavan. That's if they tap down. Otherwise, we're in a bit of trouble. I guess the question is, do I block the Ragavan? The answer is probably yeah. I think it's probably correct to do so. Excuse me. And pass. Block the Ragavan. The Mimic will die. Yep. Down to 14. Hand was a bit slow. If they have a Stubborn Denial, they can counter the command. Avu. Draw. Forest. Secluded Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. K command. Rampant Exile. Exile Ragavan. We can block the Kavu. Oh, Ash Trample though, so we won't block the Kavu. Right. We'll pass. And pass. No point in blocking the Kavu, so we'll take 9 down the 5, which means if they have a Tribal Flames, we lose. So it might still be worth 2 block with a Spawn then, just so that way we don't lose outright to Tribal Flames. Yeah. Probably correct. Discards a card. Block. Again, don't want to die to Tribal Flames. So we'll beat a 6 instead of 5. Yep. And Tribal Flames. And Bolt. Okay, so it didn't matter. Alright, yep. A bit of a slow start. Zoo. Lost for game 1. Let's move to sideboard. And maybe I should have mulliganed there. Like, a turn 2 Mimic into a turn 3 Mimic into a turn 4 Myco Spawn's not necessarily bad. We had 4 hits off the top in way of Temple. Maybe. Dismember. We can cut the Gemstone. We can cut the Ghost Quarter. We can cut Null Drifter. Actually, we can cut TKS. Yeah. and then run it back. On the play for game 2. 10 7-mana value spells plus 4 E-temps, so 14 hits out the top. I will keep. Play Cavern Souls and then pass. Land of the Guild Pact. Alright. Cavern Souls. Eldrazi. Pass. And pass. Again, we have 14 hits off the top. Passing, draw, mimic. In that case, I'll play... we'll play a mountain just so we can play around a... whatchamacallit? Charmal. Cast, mimic. Pass. Bolt. Rude. Pass. Kavu. Sign a Draco. Yeah, that's a problem. Draw. Forest. Play a forest. Play a... Just out of an excess of caution. I guess no, I can't. Play a Flesh Rake. Pass. And pass. Yep, I'll take it. Strong. E-temp. While their shields are down, I'm going to ramp Scry Draw. That's X equals 3. Trigger. Trigger. There's Linebreaker, Flesh Raker. So I'm thinking I go... I want to put this on top, play that. So I wonder if we go... Bottom, top, top, draw, triggers. Here's another Flesh Raker, triggers. Pass in full, no attacks, bones down to 18, they'll go up to what, 26? Can I win? Next turn is the question. Take 8. The thing is they have Vigilance as well. Shit, that's right. Draw. So I think I just lose then. Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi. Yeah, probably shouldn't have kept the Line Break, or even the Flesh Rake for that matter. So, red, colorless. Triggers. I don't think they have a reason to block here is the problem. I think just die as a result. So if I had dug 2 deeper, would it have made a difference? I guess I could even dug a 3rd deeper with the Vestige. Maybe. Yeah, because I'm just dead. Blue, blue. Consign. Consign the triggers. ETB trigger. And then... Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered. Vestige. Line breaker, target. Always yield. Actually, it may have mattered, funny enough. The thing is, they both have first strike. That's freaking right. I'm dumb. Yeah, they both have first strike, so it doesn't even matter. They double block. Shit. Yeah, double Silent Draco with a Leyline of the Guild Pact on board is kind of rough. Who would have thunk? Down to 14, or down to 4. Is there a world where they lose here? No, I don't think so. So close. It's so unfortunate. If they had encountered the Fleshraker triggers earlier, the answer was yes. And we're dead. So if we had dug 1 deeper, would have made a difference. 2 deeper, still wouldn't have made a difference. Alright. Yeah, I mean, them consigning the Fleshraker triggers actually saved them. If they hadn't, we would have gotten there. If I had attacked on the Fleshrakers, they would have just blocked. Yeah. Unfortunate. The Anti-Causal Vestige does raise an interesting question about creatures that enter the battlefield versus cast triggers. Because, like, Mycospawn isn't great to put into play with Vestige versus Linebreaker is fine, doesn't have a cast trigger. Fleshraker is okay. It That Herald is okay. Mimic is okay, etc., right? TCAS is great. I wonder, there's an Eldrazi that is a bit unique. It's from like OG Zendikar, that instead of having a cast trigger has an ETB trigger. Kozilek, it's green. Kozilek's Predator, yeah, it's a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn tokens. They have sacrifice, add, colorless. And the reason why this is actually a bit unique is twofold. It is not devoid, so it is just straight up green. It's 3 mana and 3 generic, 1 green. It is straight up devoid. And then it isn't a cast trigger, which is a bit unique. It more or less works as a Writhing Chrysalis for 1 green and 3 generic. I wonder... I guess one downside of it is that it doesn't trigger Fleshrake because it's not a colorless spell. Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't think they eroded this either. No, there's no notes. Yeah, I guess that's true. If it was devoid and had the ETB trigger, maybe that's better than a Mycospawn in that way. Because it kind of acts as a Mycospawn by ramping 2 through spawns, but is an ETB trigger, so it works better with Vestige for Spawn who it doesn't. Something to consider. But that being said, that there is the end of match 4. We'll be back for match 5. Alright, we're back for match number, what is this number? Number 5. On the draw for game 1, I will keep, I mean, this is TKS beatdown. TKS into TKS. If you find an That Herald's off the top or a Mimic, that would be great. Let's take a look. Faithless Looting, interesting. There's an That Herald's, we'll take it. Draw, Imprint, Devour her, cast That Herald's, and pass, and pass. Faithless Looting, Raucous Theater. What could it be? Could be creativity, I suppose. Red Chund. Reanimator. Looting. Again. Chund Reanimator. Village Rights. Yeah, I don't have a clue. Fatal Push. Yep. Draw. Tuck. Null Drifter. TKS. Always Yield. Emperor Bones. Flare of Malice, and Insidious Roots. I suppose I'll eat the Emperor Bones. Pass. And pass. Would love some lands off the top here. I was really hoping that that Heralds would have stuck. That way if we drew into an E-Temp or another Lab, we could cast one of these 7-mana value spells. Insidious Roots, or not. Yep, there's Roots. Pass. Cast. TKS number 2. Bloodghast or Flare, we'll take the Flare. Combat. Swing for 4. And pass. Underground Mort, Surveil. Draw. Flesh Raker. Go to combat. Down to 5. Glaring Flesh Raker. Pass. And pass. Alright, what say you, opponent? You can cast the Bloodghast, sure. Cast Looting. So, pitch Bloodghast, and hope to find a land. Opponent's going to scoop. Alright, I'll take the win against Insidious Roots. Let's move to sideboard. What do we want here? I mean, Grafdigger's Cage is a consideration with Insidious Roots. I'm just not sure what the overall game plan is. See, the alternative here, we cut Ghost Quarter, keep Bog. We could bring in Wastegate, Battle Mage, and Thief. Cut Null Drifter. Do we cut TKS? No, maybe not. We'll cut Anti-Causal. But at the same time, TKS Fatal Push feels a bit rough, so we'll cut 2 TKS. Yeah, we'll do that. Can't Fatal Push the Anti-Causal. On the draw for game 2. Let's take a look. I'll keep this. Keep, reveal, play, forest, pass. This way I can play Flesh Raker on 1, and Mimic on 2. Scouting Tarn fetch. For what? Yeah, Mimic definitely makes some unique lines. It's interesting. Not sure it's the best card for the deck, but it can be pretty interesting. Like, a Mimic into a TKS is very strong. This has been well established. Thoughtseize. Stitch a Supplier, okay. Trigger Arcana Cruelty in the yard. I'm thinking we go Mycospawn then? Yes. Mycospawn. trigger Flesh Rake. And pass. And pass. This way you can go Bajukabog and get rid of Archon unless they persisted on 2, which would suck. Spymaster's Vault. Paying cost. Do you have the persist? So. We pitch the Mimic then. Shoot. We need a ramp in this Devourer draw. Sire 7 deaths in that case. Plays include Courtyard, name Eldrazi. Cast Sowing Myco Spawn. I'm gonna grab a lab because there's no reason to let the Sire just get eaten by Archon. So grab lab instead of E-Temp. Tuck the Sire. And pass. The thing is, I don't even have enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even if I find an E-Temp, I don't have enough. I'm about to take 6, 9. Yeah, it might not matter, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm dead regardless. What would save me here? Wastscape Battle Mage, unironically, would save me. I could bounce the Archon to hand. Yeah, you got it. Draw. No dice. Concede. Loss for game 2. So this is Reanimator. Let's go to sideboard. Alright, in that case, we really want Grafdigger's Cage. Probably actually want the TKS. Cut the Gemstone, keep the Bog. I don't think Thief makes sense. And I think we cut the Wastscape. It can rebound some things, but I think the TKS is probably better in this instance. There's an argument probably for Dismember. Maybe cut the Anti-Causal. I don't know about the Dismember. Let's run it back like this. On play for game 3. Wicked slow. Mulligan. Yeah, there's no turn 1, turn 2 plays here. Okay. Keep pitch. Opponent kept 7. So in ideal world, we draw into a 7-mana value spell or another E-Temp for a K command next 2 and just hold. Hold out for a persist. Plays a Swamp, Thoughtseize or push. Stitcher. And Archon DR. Mimic. Play Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi, and go to combat, swing for 2. Do you block? I imagine you do. You do not. I will hold in case of a persist. Paying cost for Village Rites. Draw 2. Maybe looking for a land. Did they miss their land drop? Nope, unfortunate. I was hopeful. Paying cost for Faithless Looting. Okay. No Bloodghast yet. Get a Souls of the Lost. No. Okay. And passing. Draw. Devourer. Imprint Devourer. Cast Mimic. Combat. And hold. I mean, I'll just beat you down with the 2/2s. Running Cat. Paying cost for. Persist. In response, I'm going to ramp Exile. Ramp Exile from Yard, rather. Ramp Exile from Yard. Done. And done. And then, no. I, in fact, do not want to make this a 0/1. Always yield, but no in this case. And pass. Fetch to 13. Do you have push? Stomping Ground Shock to 11 for Faithless Looting. Alright. And draw. So in Mycospawn, Ugin's Lab. No imprint. Go to combat first. And then kick with Mycospawn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I could have done this before combat, done 1 more damage, admittedly. I will go after their black source. Always yield, and surprise, Bajukabog. Bajukabog target you, and pass. And no. Again, I probably should have gotten 1 more damage in. Five in hand, paying cost for Emperor Bones, eats K command. Draw. I think this is just lethal, right? Not to mention name Eldrazi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Return Devourer to hand. Devourer of Destiny. Oh, that's right. It only costs 6. Almost messed up there. Trigger, always yield. And then Mimic will become a 6/6. And Bone skips it up. We'll take the win. Alright, solid win against Reanimator. We'll be back for match number 6. Alright, we're back for match 6 on the draw for game 1. So we have 8 hits off the top for Soul Land on 1 for It That Heralds. The only thing is, because this is a forest and not a Cavern Souls or Cavern Souls equivalent, we can't Line Breaker on 3 or even Null Drifter. The best we could do is a K command X equals 1 on 2. I think I might mulligan this. This is better? Yeah. We keep Pitch the Bog and done. Reveal and pass. So now Soul Land would be good for a TKS on 2. Otherwise, a red source for a Line Breaker. Ragavon's looking like that this is Zoo. Trigger. Anti-causal territory. I mean, I think I go territory here. Ugin Lab, Imprint, Devourer, pass, and pass. Rockman attacks, take the 2, down to 18. Nothing I can do about that. Lab T, exile, that's fine. Yep, it's Zoo. Paying cost, Kavu, draw, Myco. So, unclaimed territory, name Eldrazi. We can play the Line Breaker as a blocker for Ragavan or the Flesh Raker. Let's play the Line Breaker as a blocker for Ragavan. Of course, we're not attacking. We'll pass. No attacks. Do you have a Leyline Binding? You do not. Okay. I guess you'd actually need one more mana on top of which. So you could Binding here. Didn't have Bolt. Otherwise you would have bolted. So you could still have Binding. Could of course have Tribal Flames. Next turn we can Myco Spawn or TKS. Myco Spawn would ramp, allowing us to get to Devourer. I'll take the 4 down to 14. Pitch a Sacred Foundry down to 14. And another Kavu. Draw. Flash Rate. In that case, I'm thinking we go TKS. TKS ETB. Sign of Draco out. And pass. Line break. I mean, I could try and apply some pressure, but I'm gonna say no. And pass. Kavu's attack. That would push me down to 6. Pitch Leyline. Pitch Leyline. I think, actually no I can't, because then they can pump it to 5. I'll take it. They can push me down to 4. If they drew into a Tribal Flames, I lose though, only downside. I guess I could have double blocked. Yeah. May have not been the worst idea, honestly. Yeah, I probably should have. Gone down to 10. Gone down to 9. Probably would have been the right move, admittedly. Because they can fetch here and pump it up to 10 damage, and then I'm just dead to a Tribal Flames. They chose not to. Why? Planes. Paying cost for Flage. Flage hit me. Yes, so now I'm down to 3. No. Interesting. In that case, I will cast Myco Spawn. For a Bajuka Bog. So Flage is down. And pass, no attacks. We'll block a Kavu. Not that I have much in the way of choices. Plays a land. So I have to, in that case, block and block. So I'm down to 1. And draw. Devourer. 3. Boy. Well, that is annoying. I'm going to try and draw into a land. This is a bad idea? Probably. We did find the land we're looking for, thankfully. Unclaimed territory, name Eldrazi, and then cast Glaring Flesh Raker. Pass, so we'll block and block. Hopefully we just don't outright die. Surveil. And pitch and pitch. Yep. Son of Draco. They're looking for Bolt. They're looking for Tribal Flames, Flage, etc. So I need a land off top here. And they draw. Draw. And there's a land. So we can go one of two directions here. We can go Cyrus 7 Deaths, or we can go Devour of Destiny. I'm gonna cast Cyrus 7 Deaths, because if this does stick a turn, we should just be able to claw back. Pass. Draw. If the Leyline Bind hits a Leyline Bind, I can't do anything about that. Dash Ragavan. That's fine. Kavu pitch, Kavu pitch. Because of first strike, this is okay. Pitch. And paying cost for a bolt. Yep, that'll do it. Damn. Okay. Let's go to sideboard. Lost for game 1 against Zoo. We want Wastecape, Battle Mage, and Dismember. I want to cut Gemstone, Ghost Quarter, Null Drifter. Actually, keep Null Drifter, drop TKS. And run it back. Yeah, I need that Sire like a turn earlier. Yeah, I'm not sure if dashing Ragman would have done anything though. Would it have? I would have went up to 8 and then down to 1. So I guess it would have kept me neutral. So that way if they drew into, let's say, a Tribal Flames, yeah, I guess that would have worked. I don't think I could have done anything differently there. I think maybe double blocking earlier when they had to fetch up may have been worth it. Block the TKS, block with the line break, because the line break died anyways to Flage. So the long run, just sitting back was not worth it. Whereas if I gotten rid of a Kavu, we would have been in a bit of a better position and would have only taken 4 instead of 8. So I think double blocking there may have been worth it actually. In retrospect. On the draw for game 2. Let's take a look. Mulligan. Oh, you gotta be joking me. If I find a red source, we can make this work. So I'm thinking we pitch the Myco spawn or pitch Dismember. Probably the Myco spawn. Yeah. So I need a red source here. Basically what we're angling for is Mimic into Line Break into Line Break. I mean, at the same time as Member, yeah, instant speed removal here just kind of awkward at times. I will keep. Opponent went down to 6. If we pitch the Myco spawn, yeah, I think that's right. And then Reveal Devourer, trigger. I need a red source. Leyline of the Guild Pact, not thrilled about that. So the K command's a redraw, or we could just redraw. I'm gonna say no to all. Temple, Mimic, and pass. We have 10 hits off the top to play the line break. Casting, nothing. Draw, Vestige, of course. In that case, combat. So whiff on the 10. Fetch, bolt, bolt resolves. I guess better for the Mimic to take it than the line break, admittedly. Dashing Ragavan or Sign of Draco? Sign of Draco. This member is a dead card then. Draw. Courtyard. The problem is, Sign of Draco here has frickin' First Strike and Hexproof. Oh no. Pass. And also haste, and vigilance. It has everything. It's Sire 7 Deaths. I understand why Sire can be so obnoxious, because Sign of Draco is... This is the same way I lost to Zoo last time. The Fresh Hell. Draw. Territory. Name Eldrazi. So I think playing the anti-causal's right here. Line break, target, always yield. I'll swing because why not? You'll double block. I guess actually I shouldn't have, because now they gain life. Yeah, in retrospect, shouldn't have done that. And also, yeah, that was dumb on so many levels. I don't think it matters. I think I just die because... Double Sign of Draco Leyline Binding? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? Surveil. Yeah. I think the best case scenario would have been a Wastegate Battle Mage. But even then, I don't think this matters. Clarion Conqueror, sure. I take 8. Down to 8. Draw. Forest. Yep, I concede. There is quite literally nothing I can do about that. Unfortunate. Yeah, that is exactly the same way I lost to Zoo last time. Brutal. Alright, well, we'll be back for match 7. Alright, and we're back for match 7 on the draw for game 1. I will keep, I will reveal, I will pass. Right now we're angling for a TKS on turn 2. I'm a little bit afraid that this is either Energy or Ruby Storm. Ruby Storm would be the worst case scenario by and large. I'm gonna go for the E-Temp here. Play E-Temp, pass, and pass. It's Ruby Storm. Best case scenario, they play Ral. Worst case scenario, they play Ruby Medallion. If it's Energy, looks like it could be Energy. Voice of Victory. Have tempted the K command. Exile into it that heralds. Otherwise, could TKS. I mean, TKS is a good blocker and disrupts their turn 3 play. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's take a look. Flage, Static Prison. I need to get rid of the Static Prison. And I'll pass. And pass. So they could play Bombardment. They could play Flage. If they play Flage, I can't block. If they play Bombardment, then I can block. One unknown in hand. There is Bombardment. Yep. And combat. Interesting. This is fine. I'll block. Sack, target me. Yeah, I'm kind of confused by this play. Okay. I'll still take 3. And then take another 2. For 5. Yep, down to 15. Draw. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi. Go to combat. I'm also realizing they didn't play a land, did they? Right? They forgot to play a land? I will pass hold up K command. I think we probably, what they probably do is they play a land, fetch, play Flage, go for the TKS. I guess maybe we should have played the Hit That Heralds? Yeah, maybe. Flage. Flage targets TKS. They sack Flage, target TKS. TKS dies. Yes. Yeah, maybe playing the Hit That Heralds would have made sense then. That way they couldn't have done that. Yeah. Would have made sense. End step, K command, ramp and exile from yard. Yeah. So I think I misplayed there. I missequenced at the very least. Down. And draw. Play a secluded courtyard, name Eldrazi. So I can cast Hit That Heralds. And then cast Devour. Initially I was thinking maybe Null Drifter, but I think Devour here makes more sense. But first, let's be smart. Attack all for 3. And then sack. Get rid of Goblin Bombardment. Bombardment down. And pass. And hold on the off chance that's relevant. Red, red, white. Pyro. Pyro resolves. Draws 2, pitches 2. What do you pitch? The lands I knew about. Flooded Strand. And passing. Okay. Draw. Line breaker. Okay. See, I kind of want to play Null Drifter here. So if I sack here, I would need to find another E-temp. Let's see if we can make it work though. Null Drifter, always yield. TKS, play Unclaimed Territory, name Eldrazi. Go to combat, swing for 7. And pass. Next turn we can TKS and Line Breaker back to back. Blocking, okay. And pass. this another Flage. Legendary fetch to 11. Lethal's on board. Alright. So we want this member, thief. We can cut the ghost quarter, keep the bog. Cut a... See, TKS kind of feels bad for Static Prism, but they only run like 2 of them. I can maybe cut a Null Drifter, cut like 2 TKS or 1 TKS? Yeah, 1 TKS. Run it back like this. Yeah, as I was thinking about and talking about the zoo matchup, someone mentioned maybe bringing in Allah's Dust, whether it be in the side or in main. Ooh, I want to keep this hand. I have 9 hits off top, 13 if you include Temple. We'll keep, go Cavernous Souls, Dismember unless we draw into one of those 2. Put mulligans to 5, so that gives this hand a little bit more gas, because we can go Line Break and Line Break, or Line Break and the Vestige. We're in a decent spot. We'll pass. Marsh Flats, fetch, 19 for Sacred Foundry, shock 2, Guide of Souls. Okay, we have Dismember for that. Draw, Mountain, play Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi, and hold. Alright. What do you play? You play a Ocelot Pride. I'm just going to Dismember the Guide of Souls in response. Pass. Guide of Souls down. Ocelot Pride hits. Show me a 7 value spell or E-Temp. 13 hits. Go. Shoot. In that case, play with included Courtyard, name Eldrazi, and pass. Yeah, the variance has been rough sometimes, I'll tell you what. I feel like we have like 13, 14 hits and multiple draws and just been finding nothing. Red, red, red? Is this freaking Blood Moon? Not much better. So again, 13 hits off top, so I can get rid of this Ocelot Pride. Not sure Molten Rain is necessarily good in this matchup. Hit that Heralds. Jesus. Cast the Hit that Heralds. At least we have a blocker now. Pass. I say that Molten Rain's bad, at the same time it stops me from playing my turn 3 plays. Johnny. Don't exactly want to flip a Johnny, but you don't have a red permanent either. I'm gonna block the Ocelot Pride, because I'll Line Breaker and Suicide that directly at a Johnny, no hesitation. Block. Johnny. Make a cat. Yup, yup. And draw. Myco. Lab. No imprint. And red. Guess I even need to do that. Line break. Target. Target self. Always yield. Attack at a Johnny. Yeah, I mean, Johnny still dies. Pass. Draw. Lab. Lab no imprint. Done. I'm thinking maybe we cast Myco Spawn here. Either Myco Spawn or Line Break. I'm gonna Myco Spawn ramp. Grab an E-Temp. And pass. Attack with It That Heralds. Because we draw into a land, we'll be able to Line Break and Vestige. Down to 16. If they have no blockers at the end of next turn, I might genuinely K-command this cat. Land. And Bombardment in response. I'm going to Scry Draw Exile, because I think I can win. And done. Cat gone. Dismember, not what I was looking for. Show me a land. Flash Rake. 6. Let's see. 3, yeah, so I'm short for the anti-causal. In that case, let's start with Flash Rake. And then Line Break. Always yield. Always yield. Let's put them down to 14. I might have enough here. Line Break, target, Line Break. Yes, this is lethal damage. And pass. Alright, and we got there. So that is a clean 2-0 win against Energy for match number 7. First Energy matchup, I think, since the release of EOE. Yeah, looks like it. Interesting. Alright, well, 4-3 record at the end of 5. I definitely think there are some adjustments to be made to the list. I think just from the fact that Zoo is as prevalent as it is, given the challenges I've played, because between just these last 2 challenges I played, both today, I played against Zoo 4 times out of 14 matches. So that is, what? 29% roughly. 29% of my matches were Zoo. So I'm thinking maybe 2 things. I'm thinking maybe Writhing Chrysalis makes sense in order to accomplish that. Obviously, I will probably need to cut Sowing Myco Spawn, which will mean I cut the utility lands. So looking at Bajuka Bog and Ghost Quarter, which is a bit unfortunate because I do like those cards, admittedly. The other option... Actually, I don't think there's another option. I think I have to do that for the sheer fact that I need enough lands to play Myco Spawn on curve reliably, and by doing so, it does also increase the likelihood of casting Line Breaker reliably as well. So I think maybe that is probably correct. And then either pivoting and continuing to play Null Drifter, or instead potentially playing Allah's Dust, either in the side or in main. Null Drifter is pretty bad into Zoo, admittedly, just for the sheer fact that it doesn't trade well into a Sign of Draco that's souped up off of Leyline of the Guild Pact. So I'm thinking maybe cutting Null Drifter, instead going Allah's Dust, and sticking with the 3-2-2-3 method that I've been using, which is like 3 Devourers, 3 Finishers, and then 2 Utilities. In this case, Allah's Dust. So I think that probably makes the most sense. Yeah. So I think I might go that direction, make some adjustments. The mimics were fun. I'm not sure if they're good. And if I'm seeing Zoo as often as I am, maybe Wastegate Battle Mage main is worth it. Wastegate has good opening hand data, a little bit mixed play data, admittedly. But maybe instead of Mimic main, we move to Wastegate main and then figure out what we want to put in the side. We had to open up 3 spots. I'll have to give that a little bit more thought since we'd be playing Wastegate main. So, things to think about. I think probably that direction makes sense. It might be an overcorrection for Zoo. Maybe we do a few half steps instead of like multiple full steps. I'll have to think about that. But regardless, the list will likely change a little bit in response to the increase of Zoo that I've been finding personally. That being said, though, that there will be the end of today's video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much as I hope that you all learn from me, both my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached the point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button as we're getting closer and closer to the next goal of 1,000 subscribers. At which point, I'll be able to start monetizing these videos, allowing me to start saving up for a streaming PC, so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime, though, you can support me monetarily over on my Patreon, where you get early access to my YouTube videos. That being said, though, folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!